Thanks for joining us. Back to a little bit of foreign stuff, Jared. Martial arts related. We are right into the martial arts at the moment.
Yeah. I figured after Bloodsport, it'd be nice to, check
That's
out
legitimate
the evolution. The evolution.
The Bloodsport's legitimate sort of martial
fiction versus non-fiction.
Actual ability versus nothing.
Bullshido versus...
I don't know what these guys are practicing, but fuck.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in amongst it. Put it that way. Today's episode is 2018's Netflix original, I believe. The Night Comes for Us. But before we get to that, quick whip round. I haven't really watched a lot. I will say this. I watched the first episode of Season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham.
Yep.
Honestly, mate, I thought that shit was all... Like, I told you when I first looked at it, I thought it was going to be taking the piss. These blokes were fucking taking the piss. It's clear that they're not.
No.
It's clear. They actually give a shit.
Let's be upfront. They give a shit, but if it wasn't making money, they wouldn't give a shit.
Of course. But I feel like it's more pitched towards the club and everything, not necessarily about them.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that Rob McElhenney, at least, is passionate about sports.
Yeah.
And was approaching it from the right angle in that department. Like
Reynolds is your money.
Reynolds is your money, man.
And your salesman.
Yeah, but McElhenney is a lifelong sports fan, so understands what it's like to... he understands what it's like to be the guy in the bar pissing and moaning about the new coach,
Agreed. And I think so far they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
With it. But it's not really them, is it? Doing the job. They've got some other people involved who know a lot more about the football club.
They provided the money and wisely employed the right people and kind of get out of their way a little bit.
And look, they spent a lot of money on players and stuff.
Yes. So I think they understand, from what I'm looking at, they understand their side of things from a commercial venture.
Yeah.
And they understand that we kind of... It's not exactly... I wouldn't say it's hands-off, because you got a fucking camera there, and I still remember the guy blowing up about the commercial that Reynolds is filming. This fucking bullshit, we're going to go on Sunday and all that sort of stuff. But they understand, hey, we provide the resources, we've given you the coach, the players, the money to get that stuff. But our end is you got to have a few cameras around. We'll show up every now and then, get a few people on camera, and then everything works for everyone.
And... This is the first episode they sort of insinuated, look, we've got the biggest player budget in the league, and if we don't go up, we basically fucking put the club in the shit.
Yep.
We ruin it. So I understand what they're trying to do is create something, get it, make it viable, and then sell it off. Like, that's what's going to happen. They're not going to be hanging around forever.
Yeah, they've already bumped up to F1, haven't they? Then they purchase into a Formula 1 team just recently.
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is what I'm saying. They won't be around forever, but I like the way this is being done.
But you know what? They might with Wrexham, because they might, piggyback off that to the point where they're working with so much cash that Wrexham is small potatoes, and they can still afford to just give them the funds they need. And
yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But even if they leave, they've now created this branch of
they put Wrexham on the map.
Fans. People are buying Wrexham jerseys from all over the world.
Well, they're sold out, they reckon.
Yeah.
So from a merchandise perspective, they've killed it. So it's really look. I just like the way they're doing it. That's my opinion, because I felt like it was going to be more of a piss take.
Yeah.
Initially, like when I first put it on, I was kind of like, "This, I won't be able to take this seriously."
Yeah, and I think they've done well. It's a good show to watch.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. And the only other thing I watched was a couple episodes of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes.
I watched the Bash of the Beach.
Brilliant.
Honestly. Fucking hell. Seriously. Talk about cocking that up. You know what? As I said a bit to you, Hulk Hogan had way too much pull.
When you signed a bloke who was notorious for not putting other people over and gave him 100% creative control on any match that he was involved in.
Yeah. And I believe the other bloke.
Russo,
yeah.
Yeah. Russo talks a lot of shit.
His side of the story is, I believe, the truth.
It seems believable. Yeah. And you listen to Jeff Jarrett, who I've, got no reason to believe anything other than he's a bit of a straight shooter in those sort of interviews. it sounds like Russo's telling the truth. And Bischoff and Hogan, I mean, Hogan's noted for fucking stretching the truth, and Bischoff's a bit of a fucking shyster. He's a bit of a salesman, so...
So I always felt that I liked that episode.
Yeah.
Interesting footnote to the end of the WCW, basically. That's kind of where it went down.
Shows you the shit that they were in.
They were in some trouble. But I also found it very interesting that for a period there, WCW was starting to become the bigger entity at one point.
For 2-3 years, the Monday Night Wars was legit. Like, WCW were winning the ratings for a year or so there, weren't they? So
it's interesting to see how these things fall away. And as much as Vince McMahon is a massive dildo, it's clear he's a very good businessman. Like, you don't stay alive like this and build such an empire if you don't know what you're doing.
Correct.
And he has been around since the territories.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he ended that. Because, as you said, he saw a business opportunity.
Yep. And that is the mark of a great businessman. And as much as he's a fucking guy who pulls both hammies at once, shits himself in the ring.
Grows very ordinary mustaches.
I mean, as much as he does all that, he knows what business, what works in his business.
Can I just say that I think, because I believe the sale, he sold it to Endeavour, who owns UFC. So I believe the sale, he still owns, I think it was a 51% sale. So they control it, but he still owns
49%.
49%, and I think it's going to go well.
So, are you telling me? Are you telling me that Vince has hung up his shitty drawers?
Vince has put the shitty drawers up in the wash.
And then someone sneezed and he fucking bought back the rest of it.
He's going to sit back and collect dollars for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Because Endeavour's done, like, they're buying up all sorts of stuff, but they've done pretty well with the UFC, and they're, you know, listening to the people that are running the thing. They understand that the WWE's unique in the sports market, even though it's not, you know, it's the sports entertainment, but in terms of the sports market, there's no other thing in that market that goes for fucking 365 days a year.
Yeah, that's right.
And that shit does.
Yeah.
You know, so I think
incredible business.
I think Vinnie Mac is going to sit there in his giant mansion, yell at his wife for sneezing, and just collect dollars for the rest of his life.
He's going to be... he is not going to be surprised when he shits himself when he's 80.
Exactly. He'll wipe it up with dollar bills.
Exactly. And the Marty Jannetty episode... That guy's a fucking loose cannon, isn't he?
Yeah, lost the plot.
All that stuff about basically everybody else is to blame but him.
Yeah.
His own problems. Which seemingly were all his own problems. He created a lot of them himself.
Marty liked to party. Let's put it that way. Marty had some vices, I believe. So
I'll tell you what the interesting one, and I would actually like to get more information about this. Clearly, him and Shawn Michaels partied.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
Right, you know, they were
sacked a week in. They got signed up, partied too hard, got sacked a week in, and had to work their way back up.
Okay, so these guys partied fucking hard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then Michaels, I believe, from what I know, partied fucking even harder.
Yeah.
For a period there when he became kind of like...
And was a noted prick.
Yeah, noted
treated
prick.
people like shit. Then became a born-again Christian.
But then, from everything I'm reading from then on, solid cat. Like, that's the...
Yeah, he seems to be one of those few people that...
He cut away, finished his career as a wrestler, and...
Well, they even said it in this. You know, 7 years down the track, Michaels calls him up.
Yep.
Says, here,
we should come back in. Yep.
I'll get you in a rehab. I'll get you another shot. And got him back on the fucking broadcast.
Then he actually said, what do you think of him now?
Yeah.
And he's like, ever since that day, great bloke.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want a story about Michaels.
Yeah. Because he was the ultimate fucking, as you said, they partied hard, some backstage stories, treated people like shit, ruined people's pushes because he wanted to be the man. Yeah. And then, as you said, seemed to have fucking turned on a dime that... I mean, fuck, he even did the doco with Bret Hart. They got Bret Hart and Michaels back together.
Did they?
To do a doco WWE produced.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I think even Bret Hart kind of says he's fucking, I've got a lot of fucking, I've got an axe to grind, I've got a lot of grudges and things like that, but Sean's really at least tried to fucking mend some bridges and make up for some of the shit that he did.
And you know what? People always talk about becoming a fucking born-again Christian and finding God and turning into a better person, and then you find out they're a fucking dickhead about 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting story because, and maybe it coincides with him retiring from wrestling.
Yeah.
It coincided with the fact
that... But it happened while he was still wrestling.
I know, and he wrestled for a number of years after, but what I mean is he did the born-again thing, he got himself in order. He was the champ, I believe, for a number of years after that.
One of the greats.
He then retired.
Didn't put himself in the ring, I don't think.
No.
So,
which that means
have you really wrestled? You have put yourself in the ring?
No, you haven't. End of story on that one.
Yeah.
Does that... You only get invited to the Hall of Fame if you've kept yourself in the ring.
If you can produce your shitty wrestling tights, you'll get your Hall of Fame entrance.
But it sounds like a really interesting story.
Yeah. And he's a Spurs fan, so obviously he's a good bloke.
Oh, yeah, he had a Spurs hat on in those interviews that we saw. So just very interesting. The Marty Jannetty stuff was interesting too because, again, another one of these guys who seem to have talent.
Yeah.
Who just fucking burned it out.
Yes.
Just burned it away. And the worst part is he got that second chance with Michaels getting him into rehab and getting him back on, and then that sort of burned away again.
Yeah. You know the funny part, though, is when you watch an episode like Marty Jannetty, you go back to the movie The Wrestler, and you're like, that shit was spot on.
Yeah.
Because they show the footage of these guys wrestling in gyms to fucking 50 people, and they can't fucking walk and stuff. You saw that footage there. He punched the other guy and then fucking turned around like he'd been shot. Yeah. It was just like, oh man, this is kind of sad.
It's almost sad. It is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
When these guys push into, some of them wrestling into their fucking 60s in that situation.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I find professional athletes who can't give it away. When you see a great athlete go from a great athlete to just an average athlete as they finish their career up because they hang around too long.
Yeah. But this is an industry where those substance issues seem to be compounded.
Yes.
And you see guys, so many guys that had a short run, had some talent, couldn't quite make it, that just do that for the rest of their days, basically.
It's fucking... I mean, I'm still dirty on Michael Jordan. And that cunt was still popping out 22, 5 and 5.
That
40
guy's
years old.
Nobody at that age has produced anything like that. But we look at that and go, oh fuck, he should have stayed retired. When really, if you look at it through a certain lens, it just showed that he really was the best fucking best player going.
But I'm dirty on him because I felt like the end of that Chicago era was the end of his career. It should have been, what a way to go out.
Yeah.
Fucking greatest of all time. Still punching out 26, 6 and 6.
Yeah.
Still fucking tearing people a new asshole whenever you felt like it.
Yep.
I just feel like that.
But you know what else? These Dark Side of the Ring docos kind of also reinforce is that for all the shit that wrestlers take about it not being real, there's not many athletes that put their bodies through what those cunts do.
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not. Like, anyone who says it's fake and buys into that shit about being fake and everything is just fucking kidding themselves. You only got to look at the acrobatics and the move that just... Yes, okay, the punches and all that don't land.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, they don't punch you in the face like a boxer. But the rest of it, I mean, that shit is hard. You're getting bashed. Bashed.
You're still taking shots, you're still putting your body through.
But you're getting jumped on as well. Like, all that shit involves all this acrobatics where you're getting thrown around. So, look, I really enjoy those docos.
Yeah.
Because, I
think I was totally wrong when I said they should have wrapped it up after Series 3.
They found some really good stories. And
yeah.
It would just be interesting, just again, coming back to Shawn Michaels, I just find that he could be a two-parter.
Oh, I would love to see one on him, but I feel like he's such a company man that he won't be a part of the Dark Side of the Ring sort of stuff.
No, and I also feel like probably he's got to the point where he's like, I've turned my life around. I've mended fences. I don't need to talk
about that. You know, that time I got in a punch up with fucking a group of Marines and things like that. You know, probably on the piss with Marty Jannetty at the time, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Or on the coke at the minimum.
Yeah.
That was all I had. What have you got?
All right, well, up to what I've watched. Checking if I've watched any fucking Kevin Spiritas movies this week.
Well, ding ding, he gets another couple on the fucking resume, and Chalamet is still fucking surfing a donut.
Pretty sure I haven't, but Chalamet is still well behind. So obviously I watched a bit of Dark Side of the Ring. I got into, I don't know why, but I got into a real fucking Klaus Kinski kind of kick for a week or two.
You're the only one.
So, I was the only one. But I couldn't, you know, I off the back of watching the old Nosferatu, I wanted to watch the Herzog version.
Yeah.
So obviously that comes with a little bit of checking out who's in it, reading up. Obviously I knew Klaus Kinski was in it and knew a little bit about his background. So I watched that, and then I watched the doco. So I watched Herzog's Nosferatu. Firstly, I thought that was fucking awesome. Yeah. Really, really fantastic movie. Hilarious kind of backstories to it too, even not involving Kinski, like fucking piss funny stories about Herzog trying to dye the rats that are in it and all this sort of shit. If you get the chance, follow up on that. Joe Bob did a wraparound, check it out. Yeah. So I followed that up and watched My Best Fiend, which was the doco that Herzog made about Kinski.
Oh god.
Look, I'm going to put it out there. Like it's fucking weird watching it because you get the stories, and I think it's pretty clear the guy was a real fucking scumbag to a hell of a lot of people, including his own family. Possible, you know, things that would come under criminal acts now on film sets and shit like that would have been criminal acts at the time. But then I can't stop. You know, you watch him fucking blow up. I couldn't stop laughing. Like there was parts where he went on a speaking tour. He's going on a fucking speaking tour, and I don't know why, but he was talking about Jesus. And he starts fucking yelling at the people in the crowd that they're being rude and all this sort of stuff. He tells one bloke, yeah, get on the mic, you big mouth, or whatever like that. The guy comes up and he says, oh, Jesus, you know, had his detractors, but he never called them this and that, whatever. And, you know, some light applause from the crowd, which sends Kinski into a fucking rage. And he starts yelling and carrying on and, you know, gesturing and then, like, it's just, you get sections of that all the way through. There was another funny one in Cannes Film Festival where he put his own film up there and one of the
the critics said it was a pile of shit, didn't they?
He did a press conference and one of the critics, yes, basically, you know, politely said it's a pile of shit. And again, he's fucking flying off the handle and there's footage. This one I didn't even see. They didn't even have subtitles. I didn't even know what he was saying. But again, he's remonstrating, he's fucking yelling at people and... We've spoken about, you know, the art and the artist and some of the stuff he's done was, even if you take away some of the things, more horrendous things, just the way that he treated people on film sets and shit, I'm not okay with. I don't like people that do that. But when you look at the art, the guy was a top level actor. Like he could produce really solid great performances. Yeah. So I followed that up with another doco called Creation is Violent, which was anecdotes on his final years.
Still blowing up, was he?
No, fucking oath he was still blowing up. Like ridiculous stories about. I mean, there's that little short film from the director of Crawl Space that's on YouTube, freely available on YouTube. It goes for about 8 minutes. You know, chronicling his time working with Kinski. Basically, just, you know, one of the Italian producers on that film devised a plan that our only course of action is to kill this bloke. So, that tells you the level of character that Kinski was. That Herzog, who was supposed to...
The only option we have is to kill this guy. Like, fuck.
So Herzog, who was supposedly his best friend, had at one point threatened to kill him. Had been asked on other film sets by the crew members, would you like us to kill him? This guy, completely different director, has a producer that decides the only option is to kill this guy if we want to move forward without him. So... That kind of tells you the sort of person you're dealing with. But there's one person in that doco that kind of says, if it was today, he wouldn't get jobs. You just couldn't give the guy jobs. But, then that's followed up by, a video of a ranting Kinski talking about why he hates directing. He's like, I don't need to be told. I don't need someone to fuck me in the ass to tell me I need to get on the film set and all this sort of shit. And I'm like, this guy was a dead set lunatic. Absolute lunatic. So, yeah, that was interesting. And to wrap up my Klaus Kinski kind of viewing, I watched Nosferatu in Venice.
Oh, okay. Was that the sequel?
Well, it was it was one of those classic Italian films where we don't have the rights, but we're going to make a sequel.
Yeah.
And again, this fit into some of the stories because there was fucking 5 directors on that movie, partially because of Kinski. The first guy quit after a day because Kinski fucking assaulted him.
Holy shit.
But they filmed all this shit. Well, I'll put it to you this way. The movie sucks. You've got Christopher Plummer, Klaus Kinski, and Donald Pleasance, and the movie still sucks. So that tells you all you need to know about that one. But they started filming all this shit with a double that looked like the classic Nosferatu and the one from Herzog's version. Yeah. And they're like, oh, before Kinski gets here, we'll get a bunch of shit in the can. We'll get a couple of kill scenes and stuff like that. Kinski turns up and says, I didn't like getting into the makeup, so I'm not cutting my hair. I'm not going to get my face paint. I'm not wearing the teeth. So they got left with a clearly aged Klaus Kinski. I believe vampires aren't supposed to age, but Kinski was fairly obviously aged.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And not doing kind of vampire things, wasting an immensely talented cast. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, that was what I spent most of my time on for some reason. Other than that, I watched another Italian production. I watched Django.
Oh, the original
spaghetti
Django
western with Franco Nero. Yeah, not bad. I don't hold it in the same esteem as someone like Tarantino or Eno.
What the fuck would he know?
It's a fun little... Yeah,
exactly. But he reckoned... he said fucking... He'd seen Houseboat Horror. So,
he loves it. So he knows something. But no, it's all right. It's a fun little kind of revenge tale. A bit of that cheesy sort of... It's a little cheesier than the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, for example.
Yeah,
but it's fun. It's I would say check it out if you're interested in that sort of stuff. It's not a bad movie by any stretch, and that was it.
All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 2018's The Night Comes For Us.
3 tahun gue jadi mesin pembunuh mereka. Nggak kehitung pembantahan yang udah gue lakuin. Kalau lo sudah dilantik menjadi seorang sukses, hukumnya mutlak. Jangan pernah mengampuni. Tapi di saat itulah gue melihat satu kehidupan kecil yang sudah di ujung tanduk. Mungkin aja gue bisa merubah takdir gue.
Gue gak ngira akan berakhir kayak gini tuh.
Apa yang gue lakuin sekarang ya harusnya gue lakuin dari dulu.
Berani banget lo ngomong kayak gitu. Mending lo siap-siap sekarang.
Bisa rencana hidup ini, Dian. Tapi kita nggak pernah tahu di mana posisi kita akhirnya. Semua berakhir sekarang.
The Night Comes For Us from 2018, written and directed by Timo... I cannot pronounce this guy's
So
name?
it's like Targento? Or
So, yeah, something like that. Targento. He made a movie called Killers. It's produced by Todd Brown, who produced The Raid Redemption. Wiki V. Olindo, who produced May the Devil Take You. Sukadev Singh, who produced Magic Hour. Nick Spicer, who produced Brawl and Cell Blocks 99. Kimo Strambol, who produced Portals and Timo as well. Stars Echo Weiss as Arian, Joe Taslim as Ito, Julie Estelle as the operator, and Hannah Al-Rashad as Elena. The budget, I don't know what the budget was. Couldn't find anything on that, and obviously it debuted on Netflix, so there's no box office.
No box office either.
This movie is the first Indonesian film produced by Netflix. Yet in Indonesia, one of the local largest internet network providers banned and blocked Netflix from its service, and they held like 46% of the market over there. So
Right.
interesting, very interesting. All right. It's a fucking orgy of violence.
Yeah.
Orgy of just brutal violence. The choreography is just outstanding. Like, the fight choreography is excellent, as
Which I
expected.
believe Iko Uwais was responsible for as well.
Okay, great. He is fucking fantastic to watch.
Yes.
Like, in terms of his skills, as far as his martial arts skill background, I don't know, how excellent that is, in terms of what he does. But on film, it looks fucking awesome. Like, it looks just superb. And he is, to me, the best part of the movie, for mine. Movies like this, it's a visceral film, and unfortunately what it comes with is a small host of problems, and that involves the plot, which makes no sense to anybody, and a host of characters who are just paper thin. Like, there is absolutely nothing. I mean, even Ito isn't greatly sketched out.
No.
So those are the problems that come with a film like this. But on a purely visceral level, I mean, you cannot top some of this. Like, it's up there with The Raid and The Raid 2. I would probably give it, initially I was going for 3, but I might go 3.5.
Yeah.
I think 3.5.
Oh, I'd hope so. Fucking Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes it? Snake Eyes it? Yeah. Initially I was
Yeah.
feeling it was 3, but I feel like it's a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. I would say that the plot is... I mean, you can understand what's going on. I would actually go the other way and say the plot's pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah, it's simple, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
doused in a bit too many characters.
There's a couple of times,
everywhere.
there's a couple of times where it feels like there's too many characters, but the setup of the, the 6 C's and that sort of stuff. I mean, they set it up with a bit of on-screen writing at the start because they can't be fucked filming.
Yeah, correct.
To kind of set that up, so it's sort of that stuff is okay for a martial arts movie, and the counterpoint, I guess, would be that for what it lacks, which you are correct, it does lack a lot of character development and whatnot. But if you're gonna do that, then you would hope the action scenes are like this fucking movie.
You make up for it by beating the shit out of everyone.
Yeah. I believe, what's the shit that the style they practice? Pencak Silat or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It works really well on camera. I don't know whether it works in a fight. I'm not that well versed in the martial arts, but it works fucking well on camera. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that stuff is, as you kind of pointed out, is very high level.
Yeah.
Very high level. I think the way I sort of put it to you was, if you picked out some of the action scenes and put them side by side with The Raid, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, it's very well done from that part. I'm actually a big fan of Joe Taslim as well. I think he handles the fight stuff. I think he's a better actor than Iko Uwais.
Yeah.
Iko Uwais is probably better in the fighting side of things.
Definitely.
But both of them, I'm a big fan of what they do. And it's just fucking relentless. It's like it's one of those movies where you finish watching a fight scene and you feel like you were part of it. You feel like Iko Uwais has just come and fucking
Someone just
hit you in the
punched
head.
my fucking chest cavity in.
He's just come and belted you 8 times in 1.5 seconds.
I
like he
tell you
does in the
what,
last
though,
fight there.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I believe he's the villain in the new Expendables movie.
Yeah.
If you fucking tell me Statham tells him up, Get the fuck
Yeah,
out
bullshit.
of my face. Get out of my face. I hope to Christ that if it goes down, that
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
to shoot him or something.
Oh,
because fuck, if you're trying to sell Lee Christmas is going to tag this bloke, you can jam it.
Number one, I can't believe his name's Lee Christmas. Number two, I can't believe Stallone's name is Barney. But if you're going to tell me, that Barney comes in and tries to throw a slow haymaker,
Oh, no.
and Iko Uwais is going fucking using his head like a speedball, I call bullshit.
No, I think you'll find that they'll have to work around that.
Yeah. So I actually
Speaking of that, I've no interest.
I saw the trailer and thought this is right up my alley, and I don't think I'm going to watch it at the cinemas.
Oh yeah, we watched it on fucking
mate.
streaming.
straight to.
I believe it's
streaming.
the worst. It's sold the least
Yeah.
first weekend.
Yeah.
Um,
We
of the
we should fucking talk about that, but I actually went to a 4 because I think the
4?
stuff that they do well is so good, and if you're turning up for the martial arts movie, you are not disappointed in that department at all.
No.
So I actually pushed to a 4.
Okay. Straight out of the gate, violence.
I like violence.
Paul Verhoeven would be beside himself. He would.
Loved it. He would have loved it.
I'm telling you now, if you asked him what he thought of this, he'd give you 5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Fucking
Because I
hell.
like violence.
The violence and the gore is just incredible.
Oh, it's
I mean, the amount of blood and shit that gets used.
yeah.
Fake blood must be just gallons of
Like,
stuff.
I was watching, I went back to a couple of old reviews and articles, and The Ringer had the winners and losers of the movie, and one of the winners was the fake blood suppliers.
Yeah.
These guys have never made so much money. Like,
Fucking hell. I have never seen so much blood flying around and so many broken limbs.
broken bones, yeah. Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's next level, and it does kind of. They have a way of. Like, the 15th time they break someone's arm or leg or whatever, you kind of like, oh, well, we've seen that before. But then they do something where you're like, oh, shit. The amount of times I was watching a fight scene for, what I'd call myself a seasoned action movie viewer.
Yeah.
The amount of times I was just like, oh, Christ. And this is the second time I've watched it. So I was just kind of like, the fact that it's having that impact.
Yeah, oh.
Was it Lars von Trier that said that, a movie should be like a pebble in your shoe? You should keep thinking about it. This was like a fucking boulder being dropped on my head while I was watching it.
I had to apologise to my wife. She walked in when some bloke was getting his fucking head blown off with his shotgun. She looked at it and I was like, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. Look, I know when we said our vows, I was pretty sure that you already knew I was a scumbag, but if you didn't, I'm sorry.
But the thing for me is, you say that when you're caught with pornography. You apologise for watching Stick. You don't apologise for watching a fucking martial arts movie where people are getting gorily dispatched.
I've never had to apologise for watching a Van Damme film.
I know. I've apologised for watching a Seagal film a couple of times, I'm sure.
Other than to the people that I was making watch it.
I believe I had to give a round of apologies in the cinema to my mates for Spawn.
Yeah, so you should.
One of them leaned over behind me and said, "You're in fucking big trouble for this." I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. I think you probably had to apologise for leading me to believe that Thomas Jane was the man of the 2000s too at some point.
A couple of people were led astray, including Thomas.
Couple of idiots, including myself.
The opening scene, the massacre on the beach, it shows a flair for, artsy sort of camera work and a bit of slow-mo and shit like that, and it quickly sets up the plot gets the plot in motion. The little girl, Ito, him turning on the group.
Yeah, and much like a lot of what is being put together in this plot-wise, tried and true shit that just works in action.
Standard stuff, yeah. But works
They
well.
do following on, they kind of move into the scene very quickly with his old crew.
Yeah.
And it's pretty emotionally charged for a couple of minutes there, until we start beating the emotions out of it. Anyone that comes to the vicinity gets the emotions quickly kicked out of them.
They break your emotion bone, which I believe is in your neck. Fucking hell.
Yeah, if it's not in your neck, it's around the shin region.
It's in the elbow. It's in the fucking elbow.
A few emotions located in the shin and elbow regions that are quickly snapped in half.
Iko Uwais, when he first throws down the nightclub, fucking puts a broken bottle in that guy's face, then smashes it into the glass table.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
And it only, it's 13 minutes before we get Iko Uwais doing that. It's like, well, you know your audience, don't you? You really, and it doesn't let anyone down, as you said. Jamming a fucking bottle in the guy's throat and then telling him quickly to look at you before you fucking throw his head into the table. I also liked where the guy's holding the hostage. And he just fucking
abuses her head.
Yeah, he whacks her head into his and then finishes the job. Yes,
hell.
very quickly we get into.
I tell you what though, the next one's one of my favourites, in the fucking meat storage area, where we're fucking using saws and cleavers and shit, and I love the fact that he used a fucking ham hock to beat some guy's ball back.
I was going to say, I thought when you mentioned you had to apologise, I thought this was perhaps the scene that your wife walked in on. Because, it's all happening. But this is also
it was slightly less repugnant.
Yeah. She likes ham.
He then breaks the ham bone in fucking half and kills two blokes with it.
It's got everything going on. And it also... The scene the thing that has more than some of the other ones, there is a few more of them, but I like how it's got that quirky villain type. It's a bit like John Wick.
Yellowhead?
You get these, you get.
Who then gets fucking splattered all over his eyes like 209 shot him.
Yes, he does.
Fucking hell.
But, they set it up like, it's the butcher. You get John Wick where we've got Mark Dacascos making sushi or whatever he's doing. You get these quirky kind of traits that were not noted as being shit that we had in action movies. You just get this random shit that's going on. And... they do what I absolutely love. We're in a fucking butcher shop.
We're using everything.
We're not just
meat
the
hooks.
bones and the meat.
Hang one fucking pork.
But the part that illustrated that the most to me was the fucking shit that you walk through the door. I can't remember what they're called, but the plastic fucking slats that you walk through the door on the kitchen.
Strangles that guy.
Yeah, he strangles someone with it. And I'm like, well, this is what, you conceive an action, a set piece in a location and you think, what is in that location that possibly hasn't been used in an action movie before?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the shit that hangs on the doors to keep the fucking flies out and stuff. Let's wrap someone's head in it. Great. That's what I'm here for. And thankfully my wife didn't walk in while that was happening. I didn't have to apologise.
The fight in the apartment with Bobby and, is it Faith? The other guy?
I thought it was Fatih, I think it is.
Fatih.
I thought it was Faith early on
Well,
too.
I thought it was...
It came up a couple of times as Faith, for sure. But
maybe
after that, they were saying Fatih.
Yeah.
So.
It's pretty full on. People coming through the door at 1,000,000 fucking miles an hour.
Yes.
Reminded me a little bit of that scene in the Raid 2 where he fights all those guys in the toilet.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Go back to that and apologise for that as well. But I also love that shot when Bobby pushes a guy's head through the window and then hoiks him out, and the camera kind of goes out from
and then back
into
in.
out, and then back in.
There's elements of horror movies in it.
Yeah.
There's the elements of, obviously with fucking some of the blood flowing everywhere and some of the horrific stuff happening on camera. But there's a number of scenes where shit happens and you kind of say to yourself, I think I know the methods that they used to do that.
Yeah.
But how did they fucking patch it all together without me seeing the seams?
Yeah.
That was one of them. Where they kind of go in and out and...
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
The punch up in the back of the police van where he uses a taser to force the other bloke to blow the other dude's fucking head off. I was kind of like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they brought it out and he's you know, on the verge of getting tased, and then they get the other guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, classic stuff. And then they set it up, as you said, the guy's holding the gun next to, he's kind of pushed it up and it's pointing to the guy next to him, and you see the taser going, and you're like, okay. And then it just, I mean, they could have just done it so you kind of thought,
yeah. But no.
Yeah, I know what's happening. It's off screen, but no, let's just show the head and go, show it being turned. Like, it's like a fucking watermelon.
Being annihilated.
Oh,
when we first meet the female blonde triad lady with the
curved knife.
What's that called? I've been watching Forged in Fire, so I know.
Yeah, you should know. It's really good.
Kukri.
It's really good for getting through particular parts of the course.
Yeah, but no good in other. Ask Bill Goldberg; he'll tell you don't hold it properly.
Yeah.
Kukri.
Yeah, it's great for cutting through grass and shit. If you have to,
but if you have to cut 4 pineapples.
I cannot believe you watched the season of that shit.
2 seasons. There's 3.
Christ.
Bill Goldberg was my fucking spirit animal. I'm joking. I love the bloke. He's fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
But
you should apologise for watching
No, never. I just realised that there's a second scene that I had to apologise for. It's coming up. It is my favourite bit.
Oh my god.
But
this is why I watch these things alone, Adam.
But I don't want to be in a darkened room looking over my shoulder every 5 seconds. So she uses a kukri knife and she just cuts a swath through about 6 blokes.
Yes.
And it's really, really fast and really well shot. And
yeah.
It's just
I actually really like too how Bobby kind of says, you know, I've got to do this, I've got to do it. And then basically does fuck all.
Yeah.
It just becomes another one of those guys. It just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I remember. And let me tell you something.
He didn't say
Is
anyone.
Bobby indestructible? Because fuck.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many people get... I mean, if I get a paper cut, I go down hard.
Yeah,
These
I'm
fuckers
done.
are taking, like, machetes to the arm and stuff.
Yeah. He does work through quite a bit.
And I really liked when they go downstairs and she takes on... there's the other girl, the other woman downstairs, the dark-haired lady with the garrote thing
Yes.
that she swings.
Yep.
She fucking cuts one bloke's arm.
It's like a yo-yo.
Yeah, cuts his bloody hand just about off.
Yes.
Then strangles him and almost cuts his head off with it. Again, impressive.
The
female sniper on the motorbike,
operator?
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
Especially when we first see her.
I believe the initial plans were that this was going to be spun into a trilogy.
Right.
And I think the director mentioned on Twitter or something like that she would have been kind of taking the lead in the next
That would have
movie.
been cool because I thought her character was awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
Especially
Again,
when she first appears, all you can see is like that fog of like gunfire, gunpowder residue in the air, and then you just see the red dot going.
the red dot just popping up. Yeah.
And killing everyone. And then she fucking dishes up some stick later on.
Does she what?
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. You know, mentioning her like when she kind of shows up to Ito's place. That fight isn't one of my favourites.
No.
But it's pretty quick, but I love the fact that she fucking finishes her off with like a
Oh, bro, she's fucking into the bloody base.
They shoot it from above. It looks fucking awesome. And there's actually a few points where they try a few different things with.
There's a couple of things that are not successful.
Yeah, but
especially one where it starts with him and it's like from behind his head. It's like a GoPro.
Well, I actually like that one.
Yeah, I liked it for a second, but then I found it fucking disorienting.
But they only used it for about 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds.
And then they did use it a couple of times though when he punched he hit the steel girder.
Yes.
Yeah, they used it again a couple of times.
Yeah,
They
but
brought
I
it
think
back.
in general that I like that they throw a few kind of things
Interesting
direction-wise to try to keep things fresh. I mean, all you got to do is fucking just point a camera at Eco.
Yeah, fucking
she's
not
pretty
too much
fucking
about
fresh,
it,
all right.
yeah.
But I like that they try to. I like that they try to just try a few different things.
Yes. And you have to do that to keep this stuff fresh.
Yeah.
And it's one of the dislikes I have.
Well, I feel like the strike rate is pretty good.
It's not bad, but I guess, as I say, one of the problems is this can get repetitive.
Yeah,
And so
a little bit.
you need to throw some camera work in there to differentiate things and to make things fresh. This is the other one I had to apologise for. A fucking pocket full of billiard balls, and then you crack a guy's fucking skull open, and blood is just gushing out everywhere.
Was there a point where your wife just said, "I'm not going to come back here. Just tell me what the runtime is"?
She was
and I
just
won't
like,
come back."
"Oh, what's this?" Fucking blood's spurting everywhere, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh, well, it's not it's not one of our Hallmark Christmas specials
Yeah, I
that we
know.
enjoy watching.
It's not a fucking, it's not, some sort of love film. It's some pretty harsh shit. Like,
But that fight was brutal.
I should have apologised to myself.
That fight was brutal before that happened.
I know.
Fucking whips the balls out. It just goes wham.
And they hover.
They stick with it. And then he stops swinging it, and they stick with the shot so you can get a couple of extra fucking spurts of blood.
And also, they then cut to the balls down below with all the hair and shit all over it. Come on.
See that. But thankfully thankfully the pallet's quickly cleansed by old mate that comes charging you with a hook, and then gets it swiftly inserted into his fucking testy satchel there at him. Like, did you have to apologise for that?
Well, I've left the room at that stage.
That's one of those ones where I kind of watched it and I sort of went, oh.
Yeah. I felt like somebody was underneath my sack. Oh, fucking hell.
And of course I did. I was simultaneously going, and laughing at the same time for some reason. Of course. I don't know why I found it sort of amusing.
Why am I laughing at other people's fucking pain?
The way that he charged in, he's like, ah! And then next thing you know, he's fucking sat on his hook right up the crutch area. I was like, oh, God.
I really like the bit when the operator takes out a group of them in the hallway with the grenade, and then hides behind the thing, and then there's a C4 charges. Half a dozen C4 charges.
But of course, none of them see. They're all standing right next to him. Great stuff.
I had to laugh, and I shouldn't, but those dickheads get in the fucking elevator, and they go, "You girls coming?" And the two girls look at him and just...
No.
One mob in the boat goes, "Fucking lesbian weirdos."
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks. Classy
You deserve
characters.
to be blown up, you fucking idiot.
Exactly. Here's a grenade. I can sit on it. Speaking of laughs that we had, going back to
What, the word involving people getting fucking hammocked to the balls, or...
I don't know, the same fight where we're using billiard balls and hooks in balls and things like that. I couldn't stop laughing where they show a quick shot of Joe Taslim after he's done all that with the sign in the back that says fucking "Safety starts with me." Yeah, he's just dispatched about fucking 45 people, and then a couple of other blokes run in and he kicks the petrol can.
Oh yeah, it's on fire. No, you know what though? Where are the triads getting their people from? Because fuck, you need an army of people.
Yeah.
There's that
Well,
many
obviously
people.
the job interview says, if there's a fight on, will you take a second to assess the scenery and decide whether there's any hazards, or will you just charge in machete race going, ah! No, I'll take the second off. Good. You're hired.
You're hired. Are you happy to engage in fucking fights that involve weaponry of sharp material?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. If you've recently seen one of your co-workers get their head squashed by a bag of billiard balls, will you A, run off and say, "I'm done here," or B, charge in with a hook that is a possibility of being jammed up your midsection at any time? B, excellent. You sound like our man.
Fucking hell. Honestly, I feel like the best fight in the film is actually between the three ladies.
That's
I think it's fucking phenomenal.
That is a good one.
It's it really works well. The way they put the garrote around the operator's knife so she can't actually get all the way to the other girl.
Yep.
She's trying to fucking protect herself at the same time. And they're both trying to... She puts the knife against the garrote and tries to push it down into the other girl. Like, some of that shit was awesome. And then the way she deals with her, by hooking her to the fucking...
the old air conditioner.
and kicking it out the window, which I thought was great. And their throwdown is awesome. And in fact, I could see why you would spin that character off.
Yeah, correct.
Like she was just... She's got ice cold, that ice cold kind of demeanour, but she can fucking throw it right down. Like, you know, like, I sort of thought... She was trying to kill. Yeah, initially, like, she's trying to kill Ito.
Yeah.
But then she kind of...
Which she sort of was.
Yeah, she was,
Once
but
she
she's
finds
kind of...
out he's kind of turned a little.
Yeah, so she goes...
Again, no backstory, but we figure out, okay, she's trying to kill the six Cs.
But I do like the idea of her being kind of that next... the star of the next film in that kind of series. Because
how did you take where she fucking pulls her finger off and then the other girl kind of looks at her and then loses her fucking innards?
Yeah, I took that pretty well. I then took the fact that she jams the fucking knife in her arm and then drags it up there.
Yeah.
And then through her neck. Like, oh, shit. I mean, by that stage, I needed to stop. I desperately needed to stop.
Yeah, I felt like there was some PTSD sort of starting to
oh, shit,
develop.
I can't put up with this anymore.
Yeah, that was good. I think the final fight is good.
Yes.
I would still put it in the likes. I do have some...
Yeah, I've got a little dislike to it, but it's just too long.
I mean, but if you're going to pick... if you're going to make a movie where the plot is super skinny and it's just going to require people to punch on, I mean, both of those guys can throw some hands. I mean,
yeah, I know.
They just don't stop.
They beat the shit out of each other and it looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's too long. Like, you could have cut it down and it would have been more visceral. It would have been better because the two of them, you've waited for these two to come together. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, a little bit.
It doesn't quite match up to some of the other ones ahead of it, which is disappointing because I feel like you put those two together and you fucking belt each other like you wouldn't believe.
I feel like it's a product of the runtime altogether.
Yes. I mean, it's lengthy.
Yeah.
That was all I had.
I've still got a couple.
You still got a couple?
I mean, I feel like we haven't mentioned the stunt guys on their own. They deserve some sort of...
And the choreography
medal,
guys.
some sort of award.
Shit.
I mean, Grant Page watches this movie and says, "You guys are fucking nuts.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to hurt yourself."
Yeah, you're going to yeah, coming from fucking Grant Page. That's
happy to light myself on fire, jump off a car, off a cliff, whatever. But I'm not going to do what you guys are doing at this particular point.
Because fuck, these guys are getting tossed around left and right.
Yeah, the one that got me was when they're in the the car park.
Yeah.
And the guy's hanging off the fucking door and gets driven into the fucking...
It's a pole.
The pole on the door. And I watched it and I'm like, I think that was a guy just getting driven into a pole while hanging on the door. I don't think they pulled many punches there. Maybe speed some footage up or something, but I'm pretty sure he copped that.
Honestly, you deserve a medal for doing it.
Yeah, and I hope you wrapped yourself in a couple of phone books like...
Oh, yeah, Ito did. Fuck. Mate, you are not deflecting blows with that.
No. I sort of mentioned it, but I think Joe Taslim has a couple of points where he actually shows some acting chops.
He's a better actor. He is the better actor.
I think he's the better actor
Definitely.
too, yeah. So Iko Uwais has a couple of moments towards the end, but as you said, I feel like they lose their impact a little bit in some other things. But yeah, I think that there's moments where they actually try to show the brief moments they're allowed to before they get thrown out of building or fucking kicked in the head or something. Again, they show some emotion and it quickly gets fucking kicked out of them at the first possible opportunity. But I think they show that they could probably handle a little more. Like I remember Joe Taslim getting put in one of the Fast and the Furious movies as just, I'm just in a punch on. I'm like, no, he probably could handle a few lines. Like, he gave them to him. Same with Mortal Kombat. He was Sub-Zero, so
but he wouldn't
speak.
be allowed to. Because he'd have to listen to all these other fucking alpha male dildos
Yeah,
going,
of course.
you can't punch me more than I punch you.
Sylvester Stallone would be telling him, well, I'd have you in the Expendables, but, you know, I'd have to beat you up. And again, we can't believe that.
Honestly, I would laugh.
Not at this age.
I mean, again, coming back to it, if Iko Uwais gets fucking tagged by Statham, you've crossed the line.
You have.
You've
crossed the line. And that's the thing. Why not? Statham seems like a decent.
But maybe that.
fella.
And again, I'm probably ahead of
go
myself
into an
here.
interview and say, look, in the media, I got punched in the film because I'm not actually a martial artist. I did that after I kind of got some acting work.
Yeah.
This motherfucker. Have you seen how fast he is?
Yeah.
That's why he managed to hit me on film, because he could probably fucking belt me.
I mean, I might be wrong. It might turn out that they don't do that. But
I think you're right.
coming to the Van Damme Stallone one in Expendables 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Van Damme is going to towel that bloke up.
Yes.
Is he not?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if you're going down that route...
I mean, Van Damme can still do the splits.
Yeah. It's a bit like what they did with Lethal Weapon 4. You couldn't put Mel against Jet Li and say, oh, well, Riggs he'll get hammered, but he'll come out of it. So they put them both against him.
Yes.
And he still... They still
both
lost.
got towed up and had to do it without punching the guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Basically.
So that was a smart move.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Anything else?
Other than that, only just a bit of frozen cash. Kind of gave me flashbacks to Chopper.
How long's this going to take to thaw it?
That's all I can think about when he fucking whipped out the frozen cash. There's no cash here, Chop. Cash? No.
You're fucking dead. You're fucking dead. Oh, yeah, get in there, you Collingwood.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Okay, into the dislikes. Not enough of Iko Uwais. I didn't think I'd say that, but, I mean, Christ, he's really only in it for about half an hour.
Yeah. Could have done with more.
Oh.
Definitely.
It felt like... And this is no knock on Joe Taslim, because I thought he was pretty good too. But Iko Uwais could have done the main role.
Yeah, they could have probably flipped him, but I guess the thing that I came out of it with is they possibly decided, we'll put Joe Taslim in there because he's got to do a couple of scenes where he's... Yeah,
they've got to build some emotional connection with him and the
and
little
I
girl.
think perhaps there's a recognition that, hey, maybe he's a little bit better in the acting department. No disrespect to Iko Uwais, because obviously the guy's done a plenty of work on and off the screen.
I don't want him to come fucking find me either.
No. But yeah, I would agree. We could have done with a little more. Especially, like, it feeds into...
Maybe another punch-up.
Well, it feeds into one of my dislikes, which is to do with the character development.
Yeah.
The story that they were developing was pretty solid. Like,
well, it was standard action.
Standard action stuff, but yeah, we're two formerly close friends that have been put on a collision course because you decided you'd had enough of this, and I'm still right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
That was the problem with the last fight for me, is I never believed that we had enough of Iko Uwais to just say, yeah, I'm going to fucking blindly follow the triad and my direction is to kill you.
Yeah.
Against Joe Taslim's kind of, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough developed of that to really say, right, we've got to that final throwdown. I felt that was what was lacking a little bit.
And as I said, I'm not saying that the plot wasn't capable stuff, but there are so many characters at one point there that it feels dense when maybe it shouldn't. Like, it shouldn't be dense, but there's so many characters you're trying to give me a few minutes of that I kind of lost a little bit of perspective as to what was happening.
Well,
Like,
I'll tell you where it felt pretty dense for me was in the apartment. She was fucking dense with people. But also, I was still in the mode of, what's the relevance of Bobby and Fatty? Like, I sort of got Fatty, but I thought we were going to get more of Bobby. Because I thought some of the better scenes were in that intro were when Joe Taslim and him fucking grab each other and start telling, this is your fault. And then he fucking starts saying to him, do you know what I fucking did for you, you junkie? I carried this shit for 3 years for you. And I was like, well, where's that? Because that's where you believe that he fucking walked away and he shot his men because he was like, I've done it for 3 years.
Yes.
Under duress, basically.
Yes.
But we didn't see enough of the Bobby and the, like, Pryor. I think we could have done with a bit of the Pryor work because it would have made all of those characters stronger.
Yes. So I felt like that just made the plot feel more convoluted than it actually was.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that convoluted. It was fairly straight.
We shave off 2 or 3 minutes of, people getting their limbs fucking detached and jammed in their fucking ear holes.
But what I ask is why? Why do we remove those scenes? Because
we don't
should-
need that. We don't need that.
For me, is I've never also... And look, again, you suspend disbelief
Yeah.
in a film like this.
Yep.
But the amount of punishment dished out and the amount of people who get up after getting fucking annihilated and get back up, it's just sometimes a little bit hard to swallow.
It's too
hard.
much. Again, prime example is in that apartment fight.
Oh.
It's basically as you put it. We've set this tone that these fights are brutal and this violence is just
Uncompromising, Jared.
off the charts. But even in something like the fight in the Butchers,
Yeah.
those guys take a little bit, and then when they get hit with something, it hurts
Yeah.
and it does them in.
Yeah.
But Bobby, that motherfucker takes some treatment. Like, he's just
To
constantly
me,
getting...
you could have killed those two without no muss, no fuss type of thing.
I think
You probably didn't necessarily need all of it.
Well, I think the Fatty one kind of holds a little bit...
More weight.
held a little bit more weight.
But even if you...
But
The group busted in there and then they held him at gunpoint and killed
yeah,
him.
but I really liked Bobby. But
Yeah, it was interesting.
as you said, we've developed this fucking standard, and then those two just cop it. They just continue to cop it, and then you're like, we're in the midst of this. Oh, this is really brutal violence where people are just getting cut. They're getting their throat slashed, and they're fucking dying on the floor, bleeding or whatever. And then we just kind of flip it with these two in one of those fights where you're just constantly getting hit and stuff, but it's not having any impact. It's sort of opposing
Yeah.
methods.
And I'm just not sure it always works. But in saying that, as I said, you have to let that go, I guess, to some extent. Because
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen. These fights are brutal and visceral, but people are going to get back up because they want the fight to continue.
Yeah. I just felt like it could have been handled a little better in that one particular instance, because it did feel like both of them had just taken so much treatment. And there was about 50 guys, all with machetes.
I know.
There was one point where they're coming in the door. And
Well, there's one
they're
point where
just
Fuddy's on the
swinging.
ground holding a fucking small
Yeah.
table to protect himself.
And nobody else, yeah, and there's 3 guys kind of pretending to swing over the top.
Yeah, like it's...
There's 2 or 3 points where you look at it and you're like, nah, he's done. He's just
Yeah,
done.
he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
One of the things I did notice, and I think it's part of these type of films, because I think you'll probably see it in The Raid, and you probably see it in The Raid 2, some of the over-the-top, like, when they punch them in the face or whatever, not the main guys, the other guys, they kind of pirouette out of there like they'd be, like, you know what I mean, it's a slightly over-the-top, over-exaggerated,
Yeah.
getting smacked in the mouth type of thing.
Yes.
There's a little bit that evens out a little bit as it goes along because they're between the bigger characters. But some of the extras are just fucking all over the joint.
Well, Adam, if I get whacked in the face with a sack of billiard balls, I'd probably
Well,
pirouette
I don't
out of
say
it.
anything. I just go like a bag of shit. I just go.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't look like fucking. I don't look like a ballerina fucking
No.
twirling out of there. Like, but no, look. There's also adding on to that. I feel like there's a few instances of the kind of take a number style,
And especially the one with the pool table.
Yeah.
It starts like that.
Yep.
It builds back into, they're coming in waves and he's holding them off.
Yeah.
But at the start, like, he's
previously-
just flogging blokes left and right and then just tossing them aside for the next guy to rock up.
Whereas the other work that these guys have done, stuff like the Raid, I don't feel like it's as noticeable in those ones.
No.
It does kind of feel like they're under attack from all angles. That said, we did describe it as kind of relentless. It still feels that way.
Yes.
But it does feel more like you're done, you're done, you're done, you're
Yeah.
done. Like it's...
And it's in those bigger fight scenes where all that sort of goes on.
Yeah.
Whereas once you get a little bit more mano or you get the 3 ladies together, that feels more clean. Like you're not they are going out after each other. Like the three ladies, it's 2-on-1, and most of that feels she's holding them at bay. She's delivering
probably could have
one.
done with maybe in one of those big fight scenes, maybe one more kind of one of the other 6 C's to sort of take on some of the treatment and take on that. Well, you're going to whip 4 or 5 guys before you get to me, but then me and you are going to go for a good 3-4 minutes on screen. Could have done with something more of that, or if it's Joe Taslim and E.K. Weiss, a good 14 to 15 minutes.
Holy shit! That's my last dislike. Is the fight just is too long.
Yeah.
At the end, it's too long.
The movie's too long, I think.
Yeah,
2 hours.
90 minutes clean. It probably would have been.
90 minutes, 100 minutes. I'll give you 100 if you're going to indulge some of the character arcs and stuff. If you're going to just leave it like this, just clip a little bit. Just trim a touch.
Trim of 1 or 2 broken arms.
A couple of limb trauma incidents and compound fractures.
Take out 4 or 5 compound fractures, remove the sac trauma, and something around that thing, and everyone would be fine.
Well, I feel like you could have taken out the police, as much as I didn't mind it, the police van.
Yeah.
In the run of it, it doesn't do much.
No.
He just kind of gets taken in the police van for the sake of, I'm going to kick the shit out of these 4 guys in the police van. And then he's out of it.
Yeah.
And it cuts back and forth between that and the apartment.
Why is it? Can I ask this question, Jared? And based on my experience, in the back of a police van in our home state, the police don't sit in there with you.
No.
Like, you put you in the back, it's padded.
Yeah.
And there is no exit or entry other than the back door.
And I could be mistaken, but I believe maybe not in our state, but also in other instances, your handcuffs can be clipped to something.
But why would you when there's no one in the back with you? So even if you didn't clip the handcuffs, there's no one in the back with you.
But securing.
Yeah. So if you were a nasty prick who was fucking going off, they'd probably clip you in.
Yeah, or something like that.
So why are we always travelling in the back with these guys?
With someone who's already...
These dangerous motherfuckers.
Someone who's already dispatched the 7 butchers or whatever they were, and Johan's already handed over his frozen cash and fucking, given lengthy defrosting instructions so that you don't damage the cash. So...
But also... The cops would have walked in and gone, holy shit, there's fucking 20 dead bodies here.
Just bring a straitjacket in too, please. Yeah. It's a bit silly.
But that was it for me. I
had a couple more.
You had a couple more?
Is it fair to say that no matter what they do to try to save the young girl, she's pretty mentally fucking screwed up by the amount of violence that she's seen? Because I was screwed up only seeing the highlights package, the 90 minutes, the 2 hours worth of
I know. That little girl has seen more fucking death than anyone else.
Yeah, and I got to watch it through the. They cut away from the fucking gurgling dead body sitting next to her.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think she's a lost
fucked
cause
up
at this point.
She's fucked up.
But also talking about the plot again, it doesn't seem like there's a good enough reason for them to keep her around, the good guys, to keep her around and try to save her, other than he's given this direction of, you leave no survivors. But I dare say if he fucking, peels
Pete
off...
Holder to just fucking run.
Yeah, if he peels off and drops her at an orphanage or tells her to run or whatever, and then continues on... Hit the boss, I can't remember his name, it starts with a W, but the boss guy is still going to say all our attention is on Ito.
Yeah, so why are we protecting the girl?
Yeah, they keep taking the girl along.
Because I thought that maybe it would turn out to be his daughter or something.
Well,
like
it just, to me, it just came around that, I'm not saving her, she's saving me. That's what it was all about.
Yeah, I know, but fuck.
But to me, that's
You've
not...
saved me, I'll put you in an orphanage. Get out of here.
Yeah, to me, that's...
It's better for me not to put you in the hands of people who are not going to fucking cut people's heads off in front of you.
It feels like she's in more danger. I mean, every time she's put in the care of somebody in his circle, they are immediately attacked by vicious packs of people. and viciously dispatched by the people that are supposedly caring for it.
Yeah. Hey, look, close the door. Put your headphones in because you're going to hear some poor cunt yelling about his balls.
There's a stack of paper in the corner. Here's a pack of trade.
I'll be back in 25 minutes.
Shut the door. Tight.
Look, if you need to piss, squat on the floor because you're not going to be able to come out.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I'm going to be bashing some guy's head into that door.
And then she's banging on the door going, it's hot in here. Oh, that's because I just kicked the air conditioner out the fucking window with someone tied to it. Oh, sorry, I mean, just open a window. Just stay in there. Open a window. If anyone happens to crawl in the window, just let me know, because there's probably 45 other people after them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is her psychologically, she's fucked.
She's gone.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't get, again, the storytelling part of that just didn't feel strong enough that they couldn't have just said, you go that way, we'll go this way, and we'll keep them off your scent far enough for them to not worry about that.
They wouldn't have even known who she was.
They wouldn't have known. They would have, yeah. I just felt like it was a bit much.
It was. Way too much.
Yeah. That said, the ending, the very ending, where he gets her on the boat and then kind of decides, it feeds into that you can't kill what's already dead.
Yeah.
He says that to Iko Weiss, saying it to him, but also knowing it true for himself,
yeah.
which kind of works nicely. But the lead up, it's like, she shouldn't have been in your orbit, mate.
No,
like,
no.
You should have put her somewhere.
You're not fucking in the Big Brother program.
Who do I know? What person on this planet do I know that isn't involved in the fucking triad game? Or the,
I know. Look, she
do I
didn't
have
ask.
an aunt or uncle?
Her make-a-wish was not to be fucking led around by a psychotic while he fucking kills 100 people.
Oh, fucking hell.
She is now destroyed.
But she gets, I mean, it's him. Then she gets handed off to Fatih and Bobby. That is fucking...
That is a disaster.
A disaster. The operator jumps on board.
The operator's, you know what? The operator's the best fucking exponent of this babysitting gig that they're doing.
She's like, yeah, look, I'll kill 2 people. They're pretty tough, but it's only 2.
Yeah.
And then I'll get you out of here.
Okay, you've had to watch me fucking slay 2 women in the...
But I mean, by this point, you've probably seen that a million times, so don't worry about it. Just shut the door, headphones
she
on.
comes out in the background. Can't you see her fucking in the kitchen making a sandwich and that while the operator kills these 2 women in front of her?
Yep. That's just fairly standard.
Unbelievable.
And outside of that, the only other thing I had was, and it's pretty low key on this one, but the music, it's very limited, but it's a bit kind of flat. It just feels like it's an afterthought.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you, it's pretty hard to have significant music when the Foley artists are fucking working overdrive. All you can hear is...
I don't know how many times I said, fuck yeah. I know why he was screaming.
Oh, shit. I could hear a little bit of music in the background, then you just hear a couple of machetes going... whack, whack, a bone going... It's just constant.
Holy shit.
It sounded like a game. It sounded like when you play Mortal Kombat and one of the people's just not being able to stop any moves. You see the... That's all. It was just constant.
Unbelievable.
I reckon the fucking Foley artist retired after this movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, shit.
Look, I whacked the lettuce that many fucking times. I don't want to ever do it again.
I went through a box of lettuces, like a fucking gigantic box of lettuces.
Yeah. I had fucking 5 vocal performers come in and blow out their throat muscles going, ah!
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, anything else?
No, that was everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I've got to get to my therapy session now.
That was The Night Comes for Us, and I can tell you that now slips into the short list that includes Requiem for a Dream of movies that I may never watch again.
Yeah, unless you need some advice on how to cut a ham or a person.
You've watched it fucking twice.
I watched it twice.
I don't know. I'm surprised you're not on the roof.
I knew what was coming, and I was still like, "Oh God!" Tone it down a touch, mate.
I know. Take it easy, fellas. All right. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podomatic. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. Like us on Facebook, Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for details of our next film. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.